Good morning, lovely. ZoëTwoDots here with some more Pokemon Go goodness for you, and today we're going to be getting into a little two-part series on maximizing and optimizing our Pokemon storage and our item storage in Pokemon Go. So this video will be covering how to optimize Pokemon storage, so if you want to see the video on item storage, check it out here or watch it after this one. And just quickly as well, before I jump into this one, I want to say a massive thank you to the Patreon good eggs, all of you lovelies who are supporting over on Patreon. Thank you so much. I'm sorry that there's been a delay on the postcards coming out this month because I was in Japan, but fear not. These little bad boys are on their way to you right now. So if getting these cute little monthly postcards is something that interests you as well, do check out the Patreon link in the description. So Pokemon storage and how can we optimize that space? First of all, to clarify, before everyone starts saying, Niantic should just increase the storage space. Let's get into that part of the topic first. Niantic has addressed in a few separate tweets that yes, they are aware that storage is getting tight and they have been working on it. So let's put out our little, our marketing hat, our little, logical thinking cap. Realistically, if they increase storage space, it's basically free money for Niantic if they're charging for that storage upgrade, which they have in the past. Because everyone is crying out for space and everyone wants that space. So why hasn't it been brought out yet if it's pretty much a win-win for Niantic? Logically speaking, if there's no downside to the company to bring it out, it would be out. So therefore there must be a downside at the moment to bring out Pokemon storage upgrade. So my assumption or guess would be that it's tied to something like a bigger bug or something that's a lot more debilitating in-game than what we think. Now we're probably thinking, hey, a storage increase, that's easy, they've done that before, X, Y, and Z, it's all been smooth, but since the last storage upgrade, there have been a number of changes to raids, EX raids, different special events, shinies, the Meltan event and everything. Like any bit of code in those updates could have broken something. In quest rewards could have broken it, Meltan could have broken it. There's so many extra bits of data that are in the game now that could be influencing why we haven't seen Pokemon storage upgrade at the moment. That's the only logical reason I can think of as to why they wouldn't have put it out already. So I'm sure they're aware of it. They're equally as frustrated, I'm sure, that they can't have storage for themselves, that they all play Pokemon Go as well. So, you know, they're sitting in the same boat as us. Fingers crossed it isn't too much longer before we get storage upgrade, but in the meantime, here is how you can optimize your storage. So first things first is to jump into your Pokemon storage and sort by recent. Now, as you can see here, I've gone out and caught a whole bunch of Pokemon today. I've gone through and appraised all of these ones. So what you want to know is straight away, when you do your appraisal, knowing what is the highest tier for you. For Mystic, it is a Wonder. So if I don't see the word Wonder, I keep on scrolling through until I find something that's, you know, worth actually sitting down and appraising fully. So I've gone through and appraised all these Pokemon already, these recent ones, so I can just as easily go through and get rid of today's catches. There was nothing in there that was spicy IV. Select, and let's get rid of all these ones. Now here's one interesting one that I did catch today, Golem. It is currently outclassed by other rock type and ground type attackers, but it's still pretty decent. This one had terrible IVs though, so I might save it to trade with a friend. So we're gonna skip that one and go around it, and we'll come back to that one in a second. Again, with the Machop, it's a pretty tiny CP, so it is still something useful that could be re-rolled with for better IVs, but because it's such a small CP, even if someone got that as a lucky Pokemon, that would be a pain in the butt to power up because it is such a small CP. So let's get rid of that one. I'm going to jump around these ones here labeled T, and I'll come back to that in a second too. So I'm going to go all the way down to this one that I've labeled Stop. This is where I've appraised up until, and you can see right there, 79 extra storage spaces. So let's transfer those guys. Bye-bye, get out of here. I don't need you. Now, what I actually should have done first, sorry, was actually type in the top here, traded. So if I type in the top of the search bar, traded, I can see Pokemon that were traded to me. So these are Pokemon that I can't trade forward. If I receive something that's terrible IV, I'm not really gonna be able to do anything with it. So I've appraised these two up here named T. They were both terrible, get rid of them. Something that you can do if you're doing massive trade sessions as well and you don't know where to start for appraising, start with traded stuff because you can't really do much more with it. You can't retrade a traded Pokemon, so if it's terrible, it's got no purpose for you, it's just candy. Unless it's something sentimental, of course. So say for example, this Mewtwo here, it got traded for me, it came through with pretty terrible IVs, I'm not going to power it up, I'm not going to use it. What I would normally do with a Pokemon that was a Mewtwo, say that I caught, I would trade it. Even if it was terrible IVs, maybe re-roll and get a better set of IVs, maybe do a trade for distance, or even just trading it gets you more candy. So transferring it will get me 1 candy, trading it for a distance trade will get me 3 candy. So if someone gives me their Alolan egg from Norway and I give them a Mewtwo, I'm gonna get 3 candies out of it. Yes, you are doing a bit of a Stardust investment, however. So it's a bit of a balance on what you want to do with that one. Given that the Halloween event is coming up, or hopefully is coming up, I'm just assuming there's gonna be another Halloween event, there may be another double candy event. This is one instance where I might put this Mewtwo aside for a double candy transfer if that event does happen. If it doesn't, I'll just transfer it, get 1 candy for it. But because we're so close to Halloween, I'm gonna wait and see. All of these other ones here, these Luckies and these traded Pokemon, I have IV checked already, and I do need to just go through and do a bit of maintenance myself. For example, do I need a 93% Lucky Machop when I have got a 98% Lucky Machop? I would need to go through and see, does that have 15 attack? Am I gonna power it up? Should I just wait till I get another stronger Machop? So this is a little section for a bit later. So let's jump back into our recents and do a bit more inventory management. So there's some certain things we can do with naming to make things clearer for yourself. So for me, I do a lot of distance trading and I like bringing back Pokemon from travel to trade with people, and I like trading distance eggs. So if I scroll through my recents, you can see a little wall here where I hit some Pokemon named JPN, abbreviated just for Japan. So these are Pokemon that I still have yet to trade with my friends that are distance trades. There's a bunch here that I've received from other people that I've yet to kind of appraise and do things with. There's things that haven't been named. It all gets a little bit messy, but you can see the ones there named JPN for trade distance. So this is going to make things a lot easier for me when I'm going through and going, oh, I don't need a Venomoth, why have I got that there? It's a distance trade. Hold on and wait till I get rid of those trades with friends, and then it's out of my storage. Another thing we can do for organizing distance trades is looking up the word Alola. So typing in the search bar Alola will give you everything that you've hatched from a 7k egg that is an Alolan Pokemon. So for me, I specifically only really open eggs that have a decent distance. So as you can see here, I've got a whole bunch of Trade EU, Trade Europe, Trade Ireland, Trade Iceland. All of these places will be getting me maximum distance. So I've gone through and named and appraised all of these. If they're not something that I'm going to keep, I've named them and labeled them clearly that, hey, this is a Trade USA. This is a Pokemon that's going to be traded away. Don't trash this one just yet. And finally, for like naming and management down, let's go all the way to the bottom of our recents, like all the way down to good old 2016. Now what you want to do down in 2016 is, first of all, there might be some sentimental Pokemon in there. You might still have your starter. Make sure you've named it something clear like starter or 2016 or whatever it might be, so that you know that you don't want to transfer that special Pokemon. For example here, I've got a few that are legacy moves, a few that are sentimental, like Winterfair 16 is a sentimental Pokemon for me. I will never trade that, most likely. But there's other things down here that I would be happy to trade, such as AAI. I have no need for that at the moment. It's not tied to a particular special memory. I'm gonna name it 2016 trade. And these are things that I'm going to hold on to try and, you know, maybe get lucky with. I might save this 2016 Pokemon trade for when someone gives me a Mewtwo or when someone gives me a Rayquaza. And I would just want that little bit of extra percentage to maybe get a lucky out of the trade. So again, these are going to be things that are just taking up space at the moment. They're kind of like a dead space Pokemon, because you are keeping them there, they're consuming space, but they will serve a purpose and they will leave eventually. You might even find some things down in the 2016 that are absolute trash. Like I found some just random Pokemon that I'm never going to use, I don't need. Again, I saved them for lucky trades and traded them away, and some of them did turn out lucky, which was really good if you're receiving something that is special as well. Another thing to be sure to do is to go and find those sentimental Pokemon, name them clearly and favorite them. If there's something that's really sentimental, has really special value for you, for example, Trainer Tips LE. This was the Kangaskhan that I caught when I did the International Dex episode for Trainer Tips' channel. This was kind of like the birth, the little spark for my channel that brought so many of you lovely good eggs to my channel. This is a really special Pokemon for me. I made sure that I named it clearly so I don't accidentally transfer it, and it's favorited. So after you've gone through and done your daily or second daily appraising, try and stay on top of that. Try and sit down after a proper like little grind sesh, or a catch sesh, or just a regular day or week out. Maybe it's every Friday you sit down, you appraise all of your recents, and you just turf stuff straight away. If there's no reason to hang on to it, get rid of it. So for example, I really need to go through and appraise these guys right here. I haven't for this example, but you get what I mean. I could be clearing out a whole bunch more of this stuff because I'm not going to be saving for trades, anything like that. Once that is done, you're going to want to sort by number. So this gives you a better idea of, why do I have 30 Bulbasaurs? Like you can see clustered by number, things that might have slipped through your appraisal screenings. As you can see there, I've got an abundance of Bulbasaurs, that are shiny. I don't need that many shiny Bulbasaurs. None of them are that crazy IV. I'm pretty much holding on to those for special trades with people who missed out on Community Day. Now, that hasn't been a lot of people, and I've actually transferred probably, I think, 2 or 3 shiny Bulbasaurs because I just had too many and I didn't need that many. No one's been asking me for them. The thing that I've been special trading away has mostly been regionals, so I don't have a need to hang on to that many of them, even though it sounds so bad. If you've got 20 shinies of one thing and everyone else has 20 shinies of that same thing, there's no trade value in that. There's no special sentimental value mentally to keep it. It's not tied to a special catch. It's probably time to transfer it. So as I can see here now as well when I'm scrolling through, why have I got 2 Ivysaurs extra there? Oh, they are Japan trades, they are distance trades, they'll be gone soon enough. I can ignore those for now and scroll past. Why have I got these extra Venusaurs? Oh, they're 2016. Possibly 2016 with a special memory, possibly just 2016 trade. I need to label those more clearly, but I can see that those are 2016. Most likely these are going to be for trades though, because I don't think any emotion attached to these ones. They'll be 2016 trades. As I scroll down here as well, why have I got 3 Charmander here that don't have an appraisal next to them? Let's go in there and quickly appraise. Above average, not that great. Above average, again, not that great when I've got 2 96%ers there. Appraise, not likely. So really bad IVs there. I can get rid of those 3 immediately, gone. Boom, let's go. Now, even looking at this a bit harder, why do I have 2 96% Charmanders? Am I ever gonna do anything with 2 96% Charmanders? Do they serve a purpose at the moment? Not really. Are there better fire attackers than Charizard? Yes. I don't need them. Realistically, even though it's a really good IV, it's 96, like when I sit down and think critically, I don't need them. So I'm gonna get rid of them. I have no need to keep those 2. If it was 100%, cool, it's a trophy Pokemon, but still it's probably gonna be outclassed by something else. Specifically, you know, Charmander will be. I can keep scrolling down and look at all these like shiny Squirtles. Again, this is something where I'm gonna have to sit down and actually think consciously, do I need this many of them? Are they sentimental? Probably not. Time to transfer. Again, you'll be able to see things that may be snuck through in your weekly check. So these Weedles and Pidgeys, most likely, I haven't appraised them yet, but most likely they aren't useful. I can safely probably transfer those. So another thing that takes up a fair amount of storage space is Legendaries. And again, a thing we need to do here, guys, is detach the emotion. If there's nothing special about it, why is it sitting there? So for me, Articuno, I can clearly see what I have labeled here. I have some shinies. Pretty special for me. The Hachiko one is a cool memory for me, catching that at Hachiko Station. Hachiko, the dog, is quite a sentimental and just beautiful story. And for me, catching a Pokemon there that's a shiny is a really nice, like, just moment for me. So I'm going to keep that one. But as you can see, I've got an extra one here. This was traded to me. Again, this was from a special memory. It was given to me. It was a really fun night that night in Kinshisho Station doing these trades. For now, I'm going to be keeping this one. As you can also see here, I have some labeled ZoëTwoDots. Those are ones with garbage IVs again. They'll be traded to be re-rolled if my friends need them. And then something like this, again, that, let me just check, has certainly caught my attention. Terrible IVs. I've already got 2 saved for trade. Do I really want to spend the Stardust on those special trades? They will be pretty expensive. To be honest, not particularly. So I might keep that one. And let's see, this one is from my hometown for WALLSEND. I will get rid of this one. So transfer the ZoëTwoDots named one, gone, make some space and name the Japanese one ZoëTwoDots so that I know this one is fine to trade to re-roll, but also it has the bonus of distance. So if you're gonna be keeping something in your storage, it has to serve a purpose realistically. So that one, if I'm trading the one from WALLSEND to someone else in WALLSEND, cool, maybe we'll get a decent Pokemon, but if I'm trading this one from Japan to someone in WALLSEND, we at least get the distance as well. Again, do I really need to be having 8 of these Pokemon? Probably not. I probably could even trim this down a bit harder and be harsher on this, but this is just an example for you guys. Again, the Zapdoses, I need to sit down and appraise all of these, but there's no reason for me to be keeping 85%ers, like, realistically. This is what it all comes down to, like putting on the lens, the critical lens and saying, do I need this? Is it special emotionally? Does it have trade value? If it answers yes to those, keep it. And you know, if your storage is full because of that, you might need to be a bit harsher with your standards. If it doesn't say yes to those 2 objectives, get rid of it. Save yourself some space. If you ask yourself, why am I keeping this Pokemon, and you can't give like a reasonable answer in like the first 5 seconds, you probably don't need it. And even as an example, guys, you can see how much stuff I have saved for trade. Like, look at all this stuff that I have saved for trades. This is going to take me so long, so long to get through all of my special trades, because I can only do one per day. I'm sure not everyone is in the same boat as me, but you can see that if I can have 1,200 out of 1,500 and I'm still holding all of this stuff for trade, I still have probably at least 100 Pokemon that are favorited just because there's a sentimental story with them. If I can still have about 300 spaces free, plus with wriggle room for stuff to transfer, you guys can do it too. You have to be like a little bit brutal, but you can do it. I do understand as well that not everyone has purchased all of the storage upgrades. So if you're in the boat of, you know, free to play, you've never done storage upgrades, sometimes it might be worth putting those free Pokecoins that you get towards the storage upgrades instead of, say, a sale box. Because as new generations of stuff come out, there's going to be more things that we're catching, more Pokemon that you're going to want to be keeping. You might need to get a bit more, you know, your storage might grow naturally because of that. So that might be a time when you need to actually go, okay, I'm putting my free Pokecoins towards upgrading the storage. And again, that's only 4 days worth of getting full coins. So if you can get 50 coins per day for 4 days, you can upgrade to the next tier of storage. So guys, I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any tips as well, if you maintain a really schmick Pokemon storage system, leave your comments down below and your tips for other people to read and see as well. So just to quickly summarize again, guys, be sure to be doing either daily, second daily, or weekly inventory management. Go through appraise all the time and be transferring when you don't need it. If it's sentimental, make sure you name it accurately so that you know it's sentimental and you don't accidentally transfer it. If it's trade distance, if you're into that, make sure it's labeled clearly so you know that this Pokemon is serving a function. And of course, if it's something that's powered up, if it's on your team, if it's something that you're going to be powering up, make sure it's labeled clearly again so that there's no rehandling. You don't have to reappraise things. You know exactly what this Pokemon's function is, whether it be now or further down the track, and then you have a better idea of what's actually in your storage. Be sure to check out the video on item management as well after this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful morning, noon, night, whatever time it is for you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.